I want to welcome you to a very special event, July 12th through 14th, where we will take a look at the past, a very rough time, previous century or two, and things that happened in Central Appalachia. The characters, the folks who tried to make peace, and after the Civil War with such damage and fewer men, how folks' lives were lived. We know some of the ancestors, and we are in the process of digging further through court records, trials, pension applications, etc., to try to identify, what were the real stories. And we've had the good fortune of working with Patty Mae Brashear from Neon, Kentucky originally, and she and a sidekick of hers, Nancy Wright Bays, have spent over 40 years digging through those types of records, trial transcripts, old photographs, of course old Bibles, going up hollers and knocking on doors to find stories. And they've specialized in Devil John Wright, Martin Van Buren Bates, and the forefathers of those gentlemen. We know now that John rode with special Confederate Cavalry Corps with Morgan's Raiders, and later after the war he was lucky enough, because of his marksmanship skills and his ability with a horse, to be invited by another very unique uncle who was 7.5 feet tall, married a woman 8 feet tall from Nova Scotia, and spent a lot of time in the circus. This gave John the opportunity to travel the world, all over Europe. They performed in Egypt, Japan, China. So for at least 3 years they were away from the feuding and the violence and the murders and the strife of the mountains. And later on they would deal with the violence in different ways. Martin Van Buren Bates settled in Seville, Ohio in the north to get away from the feuding. John had some of his gang involved in a lot of the mayhem, but eventually at 85 he would be baptized and died 2 years later in 1931. It's said that at the baptism 3,000 people showed up on Bow Camp in Pound, Virginia to witness the Devil John Wright being baptized. He had at least 30 children by about 6 different partners, and more details of the history and the mystery are coming to light each week, it seems. So several historians and genealogists and those of us who are connected to some of the families have taken it upon ourselves to create this Mountain Clans reunion in Big Stone Gap, Pound, and in Jenkins, Kentucky. And we'll be looking for old stories to fill in the gaps that we have. We're particularly looking for old photographs where we will scan and hand your photograph back to you and offer you an acid-free sheet to protect them. So if you have an interest in the growth of the Central Appalachian area and the events that took place over our history, then come join us and bring your older photographs, bring your older family members. The way we're doing this, children under 16 are free, and we have a whole track designed for children to learn geocaching and to learn how to shoot the best with a gravel flipper, and in addition to that, how to write poetry and original songs. They'll hear music, the kids that come, and have a variety of activities separate from that old boring stuff that all the adults are talking about. This event has given us a chance to look for the descendants of 4 rather notorious men, and we'll be meeting relatives and cousins and distant blood part of your clans that we wouldn't have a chance to do any other way. We've got family coming who are related to Doc Taylor from Kansas. We've got family of John Wright coming from California and Louisiana. We're looking for more relatives of Doc Taylor, as well as Tout Hall, Ira Mullins, and Clave Jones. Several of our people are bringing memorabilia from the families, jewelry given back in the 1880s to a young bride, weapons used by Devil John Wright, his pistols, his Colt 45s are coming. We know that we have a line on one of his Winchester rifles may arrive from Kentucky. and perhaps a Swedenborgian Bible. That Red Fox Taylor was a follower of Swedenborg and used a number of this mystics techniques from Sweden many years before. Thanks to the great work of Patty Mae Brashear and Nancy Wright Bays and Nancy Clark Hayes and Rhonda Robertson and a number of other people, we have begun to pull back the veil and get a real good look at the past. We don't know what all of their daily lives were like, but it's really intriguing to look back and see. We're going to talk about a very unique play put together by Dudley Cock and Don Baker, acted with Frank Taylor and the late Gary Slimp in the late 70s and 80s, to give us one picture of a possibility that Red Fox or Marshall B. Taylor was not guilty of the crimes that he was hung for in 1993. On Sunday, July 14th, we have special buses taking us to the cemeteries to see where the final resting places might be for some of these folks. In Wise, Virginia, we'll see the grave of Red Fox. We'll be moving on to Pound, Virginia, and see the grave of Devil John Wright. Hopefully we'll get to Flat Gap and see where a number of the other descendants of the Wright clan and Bowlings and Mullenses are buried. You know, this is the 50th season that has been an outdoor drama based on the Trail of the Lonesome Pine, conducted in Big Stone Gap, Virginia. And that's what got us start with the Mountain Clans reunion. They asked us if we could bring together about 3 or 4 of the characters who were in the play, written by John Fox Jr. back in 1908, and celebrate their lives. So this is it. This is the weekend, July 12th through 14th. For more information, you can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, and on the web. We hope you'll join us.